So this section is talking about budgeting. So when you have a certain amount of money that you have in your bank account or from a paycheck, you want to budget a certain amount towards certain things. So this is saying if your budget is $3,500 and you're going to spend 16% on just entertainment, what is that amount that you're going to spend on entertainment? So we want to take 16% of 3,500. I'm going to get my calculator. I like to use Desmos, and then I'm going to go to scientific. So 16% of 3,500 is $560. So $560 will be allowed for entertainment purposes. So this one's kind of a continuation of that. Our budget's $3,500, but transportation is 15%. So 15% on transportation. 15% of 3,500 is $525. All right, determine whether more or less than the percentage budgeted was actually spent. So our total budget is $3,600, and then this breaks down the budget. 25% on housing, 20% on food, 10% on transportation, and 8% for personal items. So we spent $800 on housing and $250 on personal items, and it's asking, was that within our budget? So let's look. Housing is 25%. So we want to find 25% of our total, $3,600. Which is $900. So $900 was spent on housing, or that's our budget for housing. And we spent $800. So that was within our budget. That's good. And then $250 for personal. Well, personal is 8%. So let's figure out 8% of our budget of $3,600. Is $288. So we were allowing ourselves to spend $288 on personal items, and we only spent $250. So what we actually spent was less than our budget. So we'd mark less. Let's do another one like that. So determine whether more or less was actually spent. So our budget's $3,600, 25% on housing, and we spent $820. So let's find 25% of $3,600. Oh, we already have that. It's $900. And we spent $820, so that's below budget. And then transportation, where we want to spend 10%. So 10% of $3,600 is $360. But we spent $370 on transportation. We spent more than our allowed. So we spent more this time than we were supposed to. Let's do one more. So determine what percent of the total budget each expense would be. So this time we don't have the percent, we're trying to find it. So our house cost, we paid $465 and our budget was $2,000. So to figure out what we're paying, we're going to take the amount and we're going to multiply that by the percent. That's what we've been doing here in Desmos. These are multiplication. And we get out $465. So we're going to solve for this. Think back to solving equations. If I'm timesing these two numbers, to get the percent by itself, we're going to divide. So to find the percent, I take 465 divided by 2,000, which is 0.2325. But when we're talking about percentages, we need to move the decimal place over twice to get our actual number. So this would be 23%. And you can check, it's telling us to round to the nearest whole percent, so it's actually 23.25%, but we're going to round down to 23 because 0.25 is not greater than 0.5. And you can check your answer. So if I took 23.25% of 2,000, that's where my 465 is coming from. But it's just whole percent, so we're just going to do 23. So there's no decimals. Let's do another one like that. Okay, so determine what percent each expense would be. So again, if we're taking our budget, 1,700, and we're going to multiply it by the percentage, that equals the amount we're spending, 288. So in order to get the percent by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 1,700. So my percent is 288 over 1,700, which is 0.1694. And again, we're going to move the decimal over twice to get our percentage. From a decimal to percentage, we times by 100. That's moving the decimal place over twice. So 16.94%. And we're going to round to the nearest percent. So because this is a 9, it's greater than 5, we're going to round up this time to 17%.